Hi guys, it's Uga and welcome back to another video and almost the final installment on the Made Perfect Murders. Today we'll discuss Malice Aforethought by Iles. What can I say about this book? It was not one of my favorites. The story, it's interesting, but also it's not so interesting. Like, I like the end. The end was entertaining, but the middle was... But I'll explain the story. So we follow Dr. Brickley as he tries to kill his wife. It's the first lines of the book. It was not until several weeks after he had decided to murder his wife that Dr. Brickley took any active steps in the matter. So we already know from the beginning he wants to kill his wife. The point here is he's being a doctor. He wants to kill in a way that doesn't damage his reputation, so it has to be accidental. He wants to kill her because he and her never had a couple's relationship. She even tell him later on the book that she just married him because she just wanted to get out of that house. So from the beginning we know that they don't share that. They doesn't share the same bed. They are just more like friends than actual couple, and he has a couple of affairs during the years, and he's trying to pursue one of his new affairs, which is Madeline. On his main affair, he finally found on her everything that he wanted. She was not just a normal girl. She had brains, she was different than the normal setting on that time. This is set in 1930s. So he goes ahead with the plan, but then everything starts to backfire. The beginning of the book is interesting because we'll learn how he's planning to do it. The middle part, when he's trying to get revenge and everything, I was not so interested about it. I thought he was playing a little bit of a maniac of that thought of sometimes murder has that, assassins have that, they are almost immortal, they cannot be caught, they will be like perfect murder and there wouldn't be any evidence that they could definitely be caught. But I like the end. The last part was really interesting, and because I like that type of plot that happens, so I like that. The writing style is very good. I really enjoy it. I think being a third party narrator but focus on Dr. Brickley, it's very interesting. But yeah, it doesn't have so much plot besides that main focus. All the rest is just him thinking about how great it is, how good life it is, how we fall in love from a girl, from another, to plotting another murder. It was not just the best story, but it was an interesting one because he really planned a lot of the way. And then all together till the end, he believed that he was truly innocent. He believed that Julia will be better dead than living with him because she wasn't happy. He believed that the others should be dead. The others should die. They deserve to die. Almost like they were a kind worth killing. From Peter Swanson, the same vibe. Like, they deserve to die. They don't have evidence against me. I'm very great on this. Yeah, I don't have so much to say about the novel because I don't want to disclaim everything. Now let's move to the murder. And this one I consult my dear friend Jojo. She's a doctor because he's also a doctor and he wants to kill his wife by an overdose of morphine. And I was discussing with her because I don't know much about drugs. I know the principle of the chemistry of the little dose, which is the quantity that in this case is the LD50, which is the little dose to kill half of the population. If you have like 10 mice all with the same weight, 5 will be dead because it's a proportion by weight. Usually it's like, for example, 5 milligrams of the active compound per kilogram of person. So it's different from person to person considering the structure. But also biologically, she explained me morphia has its effects, and each people, as we know that is like common sense, react differently to each medicine. So he starts putting small doses just to create like a daily routine. So she starts to be an addict, and then on the final dose, he gives like almost 1 gram on one go, subcutaneous, and that's kill her. What I read on a medical website was that usually 200 milligrams will be fatal, but for someone who is an addict can resist like up to 2 grams. So I don't know how this would work biologically, but yeah, basically this is the idea. He turned her into an addict, and she starts to apply to herself because he rejected. He said, no, this is bad for you, you cannot continue. So she starts to doing herself, and then he starts to build the alibi, calling her family, showing her family that she was an addict, trying to make a false prescription, a false order of morphia in his own name, but making like she did it so she could have more morphia for her. And then in the end he kills her by that, and it's not taken accountability, although in the village everyone starts to talk about that. This is the murder that is presented on the 8 perfect murders. There is another murder here which is during the end, which is using bacteria. In this case he wanted to do botulism because he has a patient, so he collects a sample, but instead of that he's not a bacteriologist, so he doesn't know how to make a culture so well, because botulism is anaerobic, so it cannot be exposed to air. So he created typhoid fever, and one of the trio that he wants to kill, or in this case he didn't want to kill him, but he eventually dies and he's accused of that murder. But that one is not taken. In the 8 perfect murders, the idea was to this main perfect murder of an addict receiving an overdose. Well, as you can see, this is not perfect in the terms of today we'll have more anti-venoms for example, overdose of morphine, of any drugs, so we can save that person. Also, how do you make someone an addict? On the book, he killed, and this is a little of disclaimer of what that book is about, but he killed someone who's already an addict. So if you want to kill someone who is already an addict, you just have to give him the opportunity to consume and to overdose, and then okay, he was already an addict. Now creating someone an addiction will be totally like, it's almost impossible. How do you turn someone into an addict without that person knowing, and now anyone knowing, and now how do you do that? He, in his idea, was he has a medicine that it is ferrolite, which is for correct uric acid diathesis, and this sample of medicine was circulated among the community of doctors, but he has like a severe side effect, which is the fact that was inducing violent headaches. And in this one they have used precious metals like vanadium and gold, which is like rarely used in medicine. I know now gold is more used because I did my thesis on gold complexes, so I studied a bit of the history of gold, especially in medicine. But yeah, in that time will be very not usual to use, but since it's a metal, it's not an organic compound, will not disappear after death. So that's how they see it. But he gives this medicine to her without she knowing, providing headaches. And since the normal medicines are not working with her, he suggests like, okay, let's give one sort of morphine so you could like rest. And she's becoming an addict by that. But how do you make this nowadays? For example, they talk about she could have like a brain tumor. Nowadays will be easily assessed by an MRI on the brain and see everything. So it's not so easy. It's definitely like it's one of the hardest murders to commit, because unless you have someone who's already an addict and you for some reason what is a person you want to kill, and you can put that person to consume a high dose and overdose, how do you gonna pull it? You don't. Like in the book, I think it's someone who has drunk issues and he drank like a lot and he died of alcohol. I don't know if overdose or if it's poisoning, but I know the term is one of the two. But yeah, how can you do that nowadays? Like, unless, like I said, you have to have someone who's already an addict. I think you cannot turn someone into an addict. I don't know, I'm thinking like you can, for example, dissolve cocaine or something on any drug and then slowly put him in the system and then start like creating his plot like he did, like she's stealing money because he wants to buy drugs. But it's risky. It's a, first of all, character of the person who is turned into an addict is like, but he will never do that, and that's one of the points like they make here. Like, he will never turn into an addict, so why? It becomes weird on the situation. It's not the easiest one. From all of them, only missing one that the review comes next. This one is definitely not the easiest one of accessibility of the drug, unless it's alcohol. But then also poisoning for alcohol with death. It's not easy to pull off. It's a lot of alcohol. You can forget that people who consume medicine and some substance over time creates ability to consume more. So for example, I never consume alcohol. I don't like it. So for me, maybe a liter will be like very bad, but for someone who consumes like normally, they could take a liter and they will be fine. So it takes a lot of that to work with. I think the idea on this time is very good because he was a doctor, he has the ways. These little details of the medals, if he stopped on the first murders, although he was like, everyone was suspicious in trial, it was not a police death. But yeah, I think the book is good, it's interesting, the concept, but it's not a concept that you could pull off. Definitely. I think this one should keep on the drawer, and like too many things to take into account. When you start to put all the things you have to do, from alibis to becoming someone who is a drug addict to, or when I say drugs, it's like because alcohol is also drug, so something that you can overdose and then get away with that, it's not the easiest one. So guys, this was my review and murder of the Malice Aforethought by Francis Iles. Send me in the comments if you liked it, if you think any idea of this could work or not. Yeah, I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so I see you guys on my next video. Bye.